Monday, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I'm your host today. Dave is out enjoying the last few moments with his daughter on their daddy-daughter weekend trip, which is amazing. So I get to be here and have this privilege to bring another phenomenal guest who I'm so excited for you all to meet. I know she's a little nervous, so give her some love in the comments. Show some heart emojis. Let's get her pumped up because she has a beautiful story to share, and I'm super excited for you all to meet her. But before I bring her on, please, if you are new to the show, new to our community, new to Legendary in any way, shape, or form, and you would like to get notified when we go live with our Wake Up Legendary Monday through Friday, you can text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. All right, guys, give me those comments. Let's get some love going for Brittany. Let me see some heart emojis. Let's wake up. Let's get pumped for the week. Let's get excited. Give me something here. All right. And without further ado, please welcome Brittany to the show. Good morning, Brittany.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
So share with all of us a little bit about where are you calling from first?
I'm from Georgia, middle
Okay.
Georgia.
I can hear the southern accent. I can hear that, it's beautiful. I love it. I love the South.
The more I talk, the slower it may get. So,
I understand. I love it. So share with all of us what were you doing to where you found Legendary? What was going on in your life and all of that?
I'm a pharmacist, and I was diagnosed with a chronic illness. Sorry, I can't think of my words. I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and so I started working from home, and I am now a drug information pharmacist, and I love that job. However, we just needed some extra income.
Yeah.
And one day I was on TikTok and I saw a mom, and she was talking about how she was going to be able to quit her 9 to 5 so she could stay at home with her child. And so I thought, this would be the perfect opportunity for people who have chronic illnesses, who can't work outside of the home, or who don't qualify for disability, or disability doesn't pay their bills. This would be something perfect, that if they're looking for a job or a side hustle or whatever it is, that this would be perfect for them.
Yeah, it gives you that flexibility. Well, first and foremost, thank you for sharing that you are dealing with a chronic illness. I know in your questionnaire, and I know the struggle personally, what it's like to go through. I think you said it was a decade until you were diagnosed. That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of
Yes.
pain. That's a lot of dealing with people questioning you.
From
Right?
2013 until 2021, I've been to every type of doctor that there is.
Mhm.
And finally in 2021, I got a diagnosis, and it's become more prevalent. I have POTS, which is
Mhm.
posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And since the pandemic, more people are presenting with those symptoms now. So what's finally starting to come to light, and people are starting to do research on it. Before that, nobody really knew anything about it.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. And coming into this allows you that flexibility you need in your day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of when you need to prioritize rest, when you have a little bit more energy to be able to put it into your business, into
Mm-hmm.
your family, into your kids, and really design the day how you need it to be.
Exactly. Because sometimes my body works better in the evening than it does in the mornings.
Hmm.
So, once the kids are in bed, then that kind of starts my work day. Um, when it comes to my legendary marketing. So my brain just seems more fresh at night. I know that sounds
Yeah.
weird, but but it I just do my better work at night.
And that's what works for you. And what a
Mhm,
beautiful thing to be able to find that out. Like, this is when I can perform. This
mhm,
is when I can put a little more energy into it. And
mhm,
it doesn't matter to anybody else what time of day it is. If it works for you and you can
mhm,
do it, that's all that matters. And going down this path allows you that choice, which is so
mhm,
cool, to
mhm,
really design the day and the life that you need it to be.
mhm.
For those, I mean, ultimately, for those that have some autoimmune, there's only, you can't rest to gain more energy, right? You get, we'll say you get 10 spoons. This is the analogy I once heard, right? You get 10
Mhm,
spoons for the day, but once you use one, you can't rest and get that spoon back. It's done. So you have to
right.
be very thoughtful of your day,
Mhm.
very thoughtful of your energy and how you use it,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And a 9 to 5 job is not so thoughtful of that.
Right. And when you're looking at your budget and you see that you just need to stretch that paycheck a little bit more,
Mhm,
just that simple amount of stress can cause a flare. Any kind of stress can cause a flare, but I've made a promise to myself I'm not going to let money um, issues be a reason that I have flares anymore. I'm going,
mhm,
when I found Legendary, I decided I was going to put my head down. I was going to do the work and I was going to make it. I just had to make myself have to have a positive attitude about it.
mhm.
And, I knew nobody was going to come in here and pay all my medical bills off
Right.
for me. So, I had to do it. I had to hit the ground running. And so this was perfect because I can even do this from my bed if I have to,
Mhm.
on days that aren't great.
Yeah. And what a beautiful testament to the mindset. It just doesn't matter what anyone is going through. You have to decide you're going to put your head down. You're not going to compare to anyone else's day 52 on your day one. You
Hmm.
got to figure out what works for you to keep going,
Right.
whatever that is. And
Hmm.
it just doesn't matter what it is, as long as you can do something each day in some form or fashion. For you, it's at night and it may be from bed. Awesome. Freaking go kill it. I love it. But you're still doing something,
Hmm.
right? And I would assume, and definitely chime in, doing that and having that also helps your self-esteem, your self-confidence, that you feel a little more purpose.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I feel like, once I found this, I felt almost like I didn't want to gatekeep it from, my chronically ill friends because I felt
Mhm.
like this was just such a huge blessing for all of us. And I just wanted to go in, learn as much as I could, help others who might be in the same situation I am in or was in, and just it, being sick is expensive,
Yeah.
and so a lot of people who have chronic illnesses, deal with the medical bills and the creditors and all that stuff. And so I felt a passion towards, teaching people to learn a skill to
Mhm.
make more money so they could pay those bills because their raises at their job that wasn't going to get it, and if they couldn't work outside the home then they might not be able to pay for those. And I just felt like this was something that this community could do. And it made me feel like I had a purpose again because there for a while I was struggling. But
Yeah.
I went from, healthy, and I worked in the hospital setting for 12 years. And So just my change of lifestyle, I kind of felt like I was losing myself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And this just gave me purpose. And so I said in one of my videos, I was like, if I'm just sitting here talking to myself, at least this is helping me because
Mm-hmm.
I'm, able to discuss it. And, if I can help just one person, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. There's a point where, especially with, I like to say, invisible diseases, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
somebody across the room can't identify
Right.
immediately that there's an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot to carry. There's a lot of weight usually. And there's a lot of, not necessarily, not like a pity party, and I don't want it to
Mm-hmm.
sound like that, but there's a lot of, this is ended. This is a big change. No one can
Mm-hmm.
see that I'm in this change. And then you
Mm-hmm.
feel kind of stuck. Like, is this my
Mm-hmm.
life now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love that you found a way to go, you know what? Yep, I'm not the same person that I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm this new awesome person and I'm going to do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
It,
And I have tried, other side gigs, I guess you would call
Mhm.
them. I've done MLMs, I've sold things on Etsy, I've made things, I've drop shipped, I've done all of that stuff. And even some of those things are just a little bit too physical for my condition. And so, this, like I said, when God, I feel like when God sent me this, that was his way of saying this is something that you can do. And like I said earlier, if I can help just one other person who feels like, their life is over, they can't pay their bills because they're sick, then if I can just help that one person, then it will all be worth it.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and I love your even your social handle, walk in purpose. And that's what it is. It's really, whether, we all have difficulties in life. Some are bigger than others, some are more involved than others. But there's still a choice that to make of, today's a new day, and I'm not going to look back and wish I had that version of me. I'm going to embrace the new version of me today and looking forward, and
Right.
and allow that change to happen. Allow that different day-to-day lifestyle happen that works for you in a positive way.
Hmm. And, even my kids and my husband have said, you know, you get up, it gives me a reason to get up and, fix my hair, put on some makeup, not just lounge in my pajamas all day working, on the computer. Like,
Mhm.
it gives me a reason to get up and want to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And, that's really helped a lot with my self-esteem and the stress and the all of the other stuff that goes with having autoimmune diseases and chronic
Mhm.
illnesses.
Yeah, definitely. And to have something that just gives you a reason to wake up instead of focusing on the pain, focusing on the feeling, the dread, but focus, switching your focus to something that is giving, is
Mhm,
positive, is
mhm,
helpful.
mhm,
Um, in the long run is a great thing, right? And I imagine your kids see that drive a little bit more too. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening in life, you just keep going.
mhm,
Figure out a new way.
mhm,
And that's okay. And it's a good thing.
mhm. And they have already started asking when they can, well, when can I start doing that? Because,
Right.
they're both, they're great kids and they've helped me through this. They've even made, TikToks for me when I was sick and in the bed. They'll make one and say, "Mom's sick today, but I'm going to make this for her."
Oh,
So,
I love that.
they've been so supportive, and they know that this is something that has truly kind of just sparked back in me. It's just brought a lot of life back into something that I had lost.
Right. Which I'm assuming would also bring a little more light and life back into your whole family life too,
Yes, exactly.
which is cool. And what on above all of this, yes, we're here to make money. We're here to have a
Mhm.
long-lasting business, and making money is a part of that. But there's so much more that is
Mhm.
gained from going through this process. There's so much more benefits, side benefits, bigger goals that are achieved within a lifestyle, within mindset, with your kids, with family, that I think people overlook. And when you can make those the main focus, the money will come.
Mhm.
It will come.
Mhm.
It's when we're so focused on, I gotta make
Yeah.
$62 million in 20 days. It's like, it's not going to come, guys.
Right. Right.
But when we can look at it differently
Right.
and really focus on a different space. And I love that your kids are getting involved because they see
Mhm.
what this does for you, for them, and the bigger picture. And that's so beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah, and there have been a couple of videos that I want to be my authentic self in all of my
Mm-hmm.
videos, and so um, I may mess up, I may stumble over my words, I have brain fog from my pots, I may forget what I'm talking about in the middle of it, but um, when it comes down to it, I feel like the bigger purpose of all of this is to teach my kids that it's not all about money, and
Mm-hmm.
to teach my kids that it's not always about the new shiny object syndrome,
Right.
but to be kind to other people and to help other people. And so even if I may be in need of the extra income because of medical bills, there's someone out there who also needs that. I'm not the only one. And
Right.
so I want to open their eyes to that and let them see that, there's a lot of us out there. I'm not the only one who's sick, who has a chronic illness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to teach them that, because you tend to stay in your own little bubble, you
Yeah.
know. But once I have started this and I have found a community in TikTok, and my kids just see the difference, and my husband sees the difference, and it's just been, I don't know how else to explain it except it's just been a blessing.
Yeah. There's just, as you make a decision that quitting's not an option,
Mhm.
no matter what that looks like. It doesn't mean you're going to put in 12 hours each day into your business. If you have 30 minutes a day, you put in 30 minutes a day, but you just keep
Right.
going. You keep showing up. You keep showing up consistently.
Right.
Um, so much more changes in our lives, in how we feel about ourselves, which is
Hmm.
what's really cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the consistency. Both
Mhm.
of my kids play travel sports, and
Um,
so, I want to lead by example, even though that they know that I have a chronic illness, and I'm not going to be able to get out on the baseball field and practice with my son, or the soccer field
right.
and practice with my daughter,
Mhm.
but they see that I've committed myself to something. I made a commitment when I started
Mhm.
this, and I made it to myself. I made the commitment to myself that I was going to do this every single day, and I wasn't going to miss a day. And they'll hold me accountable in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
They'll say, have you posted today? How many videos have you posted today? What have you talked about today?
Mhm.
They're quick to hold me accountable because
Right.
they know that I made that commitment. And
Mhm.
so they know I hold them accountable, so they hold me accountable. And it's just kind of a cool thing that you know to hear them say stuff like that. It's just, it makes me feel proud.
Yeah, because this will carry on to so many parts of their life in the future too. Like this is how you want them to view and keep moving through life and make decisions and then raise their own kids and pass on these types of qualities, this type of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's starting with you, all because you wanted to have a little more purpose in your life and find something positive to focus on in your day instead of just being stuck in the illness
Mm-hmm.
each day.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's lonely when
Yeah.
you have a chronic illness and nobody really understands. They try to understand, and I love my family, I love my friends, and they do try their best to understand. But if you haven't walked in those shoes, it's really hard
Hmm.
to really know what it feels like, and it's hard to describe what it feels like.
Yeah.
And so it's just to see everybody support me do this because they finally see that, you know, I'm doing something for myself again.
Hmm.
Um, my whole family has been just over the moon, excited for me and proud for me. And they know that my goal is to help other people too.
Oh, I love that. I love that you have such a amazing group of support because I think even I've seen some where some families are like, oh, you just, stay the victim, go rest more, you'll feel better. No, I won't feel better if I rest more. And they never can fully see it or grasp it or allow you the space that you need to thrive.
Right. And it's funny because things that my husband tells me I'm notorious for starting things and then not sticking with them. But he knows that this is different. So I had some new equipment come in, like just a ring light and a few other things, just so when I make my videos, they're clear.
Yeah.
And sorry, I have to catch my breath.
Yeah, you're
Um,
good.
Pot symptoms. Um, but he took it, he put it together, he figured out how it worked, he showed me how it worked, and you know he has been there making, is it still working, did that work? And
Hmm.
he's just been so helpful with all that kind of techie type stuff that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But all of them have been supportive in their own way, and it's just blown my mind because after being sick for so long, you do get down, and people do get tired of hearing, I
Oh,
don't feel good. And I get tired of saying, I don't feel good.
mhm.
And so sometimes I can get on here and I can make a video that might resonate with someone else who's kind of in the same situation that I'm in
Mhm.
physically at that moment, and it might be what they need to hear because they do understand what it's like, what
Yeah.
I'm going through. And like I said, I just feel like there are so many people who are, for I don't want to say forgotten about, but there are so many people who have chronic illnesses who, like I said, have to work at home. Work
Yeah.
from home jobs are hard to find, especially for a pharmacist. um,
I can imagine that,
yeah,
yes.
you know, um, disability doesn't pay all of the bills.
Mm.
But most of the people I've met on TikTok are the strongest warriors that, I mean, they teach me so much every single day. Like I get on here to make, videos to try to help them, and they end up helping me because they're just warriors. They're just out there and they're fighting and they're not giving up. And so it's just been a blessing financially and a blessing spiritually and emotionally for me because I've kind of I feel like I found my people, you know, like
Yeah,
that
totally.
makes sense.
Which is huge. I mean, community is huge. We we over we sometimes overlook it. And if you get into the wrong community or a group of people where they're all Debbie Downers and they're living in the negative side, it's easy to fall into that or to feel like that's it. This is all I have. I'm now stuck in this. But if you can
Hmm.
find the warriors, the badasses that are freaking
Exactly.
handling it and figuring out a way and understand fully what you're going through,
Hmm.
and find your people,
Hmm.
it makes it even easier.
Hmm.
It makes it more enjoyable. How about that? There's
Right.
never an easy button. It makes
Hmm.
it just is a little bit easier to keep showing up on
Yes.
the hard days.
Yes. And you know, and it's funny because sometimes I'll just open up the app to start my content or whatever, and the very first video I see will be someone encouraging the whoever's watching their page,
Mhm.
like, hey, I see you today, I know you're struggling today. And it always seems like those days that I need that encouragement, that's the type of stuff that's on my For You page. And so that keeps me going too. And it just like I said, it's just sometimes I want to shout it from the rooftops that, that this is not just about the money, which is why I initially, started, but it's become so much more than that. It's
Mhm.
now it's just it's more of a purpose of trying to help other people as well, or go on this journey with other people.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did you, when you first went into the challenge, because I know we have a lot that are really relating to your story and they're at the beginning of the journey,
Hmm.
and figuring out how to juggle it all. How did you, because we got videos, I got this challenge, it's all new information, I got tech to learn. How
Hmm.
did you juggle knowing that you only can have a certain amount each day? You need to control your stress level. You need to
Hmm.
control the overwhelm more so than some others do that go through the challenge.
Hmm.
How did you navigate that?
Um, Really, honestly, I knew if it was a good day, I would get as much done as I could,
Hmm.
because you never know when there's going to be a bad day. So
Yeah.
if I feel good today, I might batch content or, send out my emails or something like that today while I feel good, because tomorrow I might be in bed and not able to do as much. And so, it's a fine balance
Yeah.
um, between doing enough and doing too much. Because
Right.
if I push myself too hard, then sometimes that causes health issues as well. But um, yeah, it's just finding that balance between just enough and too much.
Not trying to race with somebody else.
Right. And one of the things, as far as, social media, I've tried a lot to stop scrolling through other people's social media,
Mm-hmm.
because it's discouraging when you see someone who's like, I made X amount of dollars in this week, and that might not be the typical amount that most
Mm-hmm.
people make, or
Mm-hmm.
at least what, where I am starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, I just, I don't want to compare myself to them, because I don't want that to discourage me, because comparison is just the thief of joy. And, I found joy in this, and I don't want that taken away.
Yeah. I fully believe, but we actually had a parenting coach who went into the parenting niche. And
Hmm.
she said for the first 6 months, she unfollowed and removed everybody that was in the same niche that she was previously like following, just so she could stay focused on her business and the direction she wanted to build her business in, instead of being influenced, mindset, content, anything by anyone else. And I loved that advice. Go change your algorithm. You can make it anything you want. I know at one point I was like on Facebook, I'm like, unfollow, 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 and completely changed what my algorithm looked like. You have control over that. They're going to suggest things, but you can just keep telling them, nope, take a week every time you log in and say you don't want to follow this anymore. You want to follow this instead. And your algorithm will change for you. And it's a beautiful way to take control and ownership of what you're going to put out.
Right.
Instead of worrying about anyone else.
When I first got started, I was going through other creators' TikToks and almost trying to mimic those. I'm like, well, if that worked for her, then I'm doing the same exact thing. Why am I not getting the same result? Well, because my audience isn't the same as that person who posted that video. And so it's taken me a while to kind of shift gears and know what works best for my audience, not what works best for somebody else's audience. They may have a viral video and I could make the same exact video, but it might get 20 views, because that's not my audience that I'm.
Well, and they're at a different stage of their marketing strategy. And that's what people forget. It's not just a video. It's what did you grow? Where in the journey are your followers at with you as well? There's a lot of people out there with a lot of followers who've been following them and haven't taken action in 9 months, 10 months. So their content may be geared of, hey, like, let's go, get off the fence and jump in finally.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work for somebody in a growth stage of an account that's new, that's still finding your people and finding your audience and growing trust. There's a different stage. So the content is automatically going to be different. It's going to be delivered differently. The social media platform has a different relationship with somebody that's been on there a while than somebody with a new account. You got to go trust with them too, that you're not going to be scammy and scummy and all of that. So there aren't the same rules across the board.
Right. And, I start a lot of my videos with, I'm just a hot mess mama. I'm nobody special. I'm just a hot mess who lives in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. But, they have no reason to listen to me or believe me. I have to earn that trust. Yeah. And so that's what I've been trying to do, especially over the last month or so. I've kind of changed my tactics of my videos and stopped trying to mimic other people's videos and just been myself and told my story. And that's when I really started to see growth. Is when I stopped trying to be somebody else, trying to be somebody I'm not, and just let everybody see that I'm just a hot mess. And I have 2 teenagers that are busy, and my husband's busy, and my family is they're supportive, but it's just our life can be crazy sometimes. And like I was saying earlier with my illness and my job situation, I do have a non-traditional 9-to-5, which I'm so grateful for because they work with me. But I never know when my body's going to give out. And that's kind of a scary thing. And so that was one of the reasons I started, but that's not the reason I've stayed. The reason I've stayed is because, the people who are at the part that are just starting, I want them to see that, you can get to a different stage if you stay consistent. And I stayed because I knew that I could do it. I just had to be dedicated and be consistent. And I made a promise to myself that I was going to do this and I was going to be successful at this because, I need that in my life right now
Yeah.
with my chronic illness. Uh, it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than it's just been a very eye opening journey of how everyone else sees the world too. Because, you know, some people may look at me today and be like, well, you don't look sick. But, I'm probably going to put my PJs on and crawl back in bed after we finish.
Right.
But there are so many of us, and it's not just POTS. It's people with people have MS. They have autoimmune diseases, and those things are not easy to live with.
Yeah.
And I just feel like any encouragement and any type of bond that I can create with someone through my TikToks or wherever, if I create that bond and I can get their trust and they know that I'm one of them, I'm not just someone who's sitting on the sidelines watching. I'm one of them. Um, that's mainly what I want. I want them to know that I'm going along on this journey with them, and I'm not going to just let them float away. I'm going to go, grab them and take them along with me, because everybody deserves, a chance to make a better life for themselves. And I think a lot of times that's people with disabilities, we're told that, you know, that's it. Your life is pretty much owned by that disability.
Right.
But
Done.
but that's so not true. That disability could be the beginning of the best chapter of your life.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I really want to share through my videos. I really want that to come through. And as far as, my purpose, I feel like we're all put on earth for a purpose. And sometimes we go through struggles. So later on, someone else might be going through the same struggle we had already gone through. And we can go back and help them if they're at that point. And so I feel like that's where the purpose comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is so I hope everyone in the comments really understands. I mean, I know the people that are in this and feel and relate to you, really, this is just motivating for everyone. Whether you have an autoimmune disease or not, there's always a struggle and there's always somebody with freaking judgment.
Yes.
And you have to move past it. You have to be able to go, nope, I'm not listening to your judgment. And with autoimmune disease, that judgment is heavy. There's a lot of, you're just lazy.
Yes.
Just rest more. You don't want to get better because you look fine. You're dramatic, right? These are all things that are heard. And when you can find a community of people that understand, that's not what this is. And I need to be around others, and there's a way out. There's a way to thrive through that. What an amazing gift that you're sharing. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I just
You can't ignore it away each day.
Yeah.
Here. I like, it's like
I got stuck reading the comments. Sorry. So they were asking like what my niche is though, and it's a wealth niche. For people who look like me and feel like me. Because on the outside we may look okay, but on the inside we're not. And so we deserve to live a life not beyond our means. That's not what I'm trying to say, but
Mhm.
we can live a life that normal people, I guess, can live.
Mhm.
And we can do, we can do that from anywhere, anytime. And it's just it, the good days outweigh the bad. And we have to remember that we have all experienced bad days, but we've all made it through 100% of our bad days.
Mhm.
And so on those bad days, I don't want to, I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I have Potts brain.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so on those bad days, if we can look back and say, okay, tomorrow's another day, then tomorrow I might feel better. And, we just have to take it day by day.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the wealth niche is because so many people with disabilities can't work outside of the home, can't get disability, like I was saying earlier. So that's why I feel like this was just the perfect opportunity for this community to find a purpose of their own and a way to make income to take care of their family. Because just because you're sick, the bills don't stop coming in.
Yeah, definitely. And your life doesn't end.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't end. It doesn't have to. There's still more out there. There's still more to do. And I think there is a lesson in for all of us to remember to give ourselves grace. We give others grace before we give ourselves grace.
Yes, exactly. And
Mm.
there's so many times that I have, tried to just push through and push through. And, sometimes there's just no more push left. And so, you just have to kind of know your boundaries and know how much time you can devote to each thing, what
Mhm.
time, especially like with pots. I have really bad insomnia, so I might be up working at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
but at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired,
Right. It's time to go to sleep for a little
Yeah,
bit. It's all
yeah.
good.
And so, our lives are just everybody who has a chronic illness, their story's different, but I don't want the end result for any of us to be that we didn't make we could not make enough money to support our families, or we could not we lose things because we don't have the money to take care of our families, or we can't go do something fun because we don't have the money because we're stuck at home and can't work. And
Yeah.
I just there's just so many things that's in the chronically ill community that people don't realize, that I didn't even realize, and I'm a part of it. Um, you know, I don't know. I just feel like this is one of those things that, you know, God sent to me at just the right time when I needed it. And I hope that someone else hears about it at just the time that they need it as well.
Yeah. I love your bravery for sharing because I
Thank
think
you.
a lot in the chronic illness community are scared to share
Mm-hmm.
or it's very there's a lot of fear because of judgment,
Yes.
and you stepping forward and being a voice of understanding, of compassion, um, is beautiful, and it's beautiful to the community. It's beautiful to everyone that follows you, and I know already you've made a difference in more than one person's life. I think you've let many people that are alive with us right now just view things a little bit differently, whether they have a chronic illness or not. There is a mindset that is involved with starting your own business. There is fear to overcome. There is worry of judgment, regardless of what you have going on in your life. Everyone has some of these struggles. They just vary in intensity, but they're still present. And there's still a decision to keep going each day.
And that's one of the hardest things is making sure that you try to keep going every day, because there are days that I want to pull the covers over my head and say, I'm not making content, I'm not sending out my emails, I'm not reaching out to my new leads, I'm not doing, any of that because I just don't feel good. And then I remember, the promise I made not only to myself but to other people, with chronic illnesses, because there aren't that many people who advocate for us. And I tell people all the time, who ask me about my POTS and my, I have a couple of other autoimmune things going on, how did you get diagnosed, or how did this, or how did that? You have to be an advocate for yourself. And so I kind of feel like with our finances, we also have to advocate for ourselves. So like I was saying earlier, nobody's going to come magically pay all of our medical bills off. Just like our illness is not magically just going to go away. So we have to advocate for ourselves in both of those types of situations. And, like I said, if I can just help one person, and it might not even be anything to do with finances, even though that I'm in the wealth niche. If I could just help one person say, you know what, I can get out of bed this morning, then, I feel like that's been part of my purpose.
Yeah. Just make my illness not the main focus of my whole day. Let my mind do something that is positive for me, because it's not going away. It'll always be there. I can think about it whenever, you can think about whenever you want to. But if I can have 30 minutes, an hour where I just can change the focus into some type of positive activity that I know helps myself, helps my family, helps my future, that's a great gift. For sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, I so appreciate you coming on today and really being transparent and open with your story, with your journey, with your past, with your future. And I would love to have you back. And thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I stuttered and stumbled.
You did amazing. You did amazing.
I was nervous, and nervousness and POTS do not mix. So I apologize if sometimes I was rambling, but I really do appreciate you guys having me on here. I feel like it's a privilege. If, like I said, if just one person can be helped in any way, whether it's just encouragement or financially, then that I've done what I set out to do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, and go enjoy the rest of your day. And we appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Wow, what a way to kick off the week. Beautiful story, beautiful interview. If you're not fired up, excited, and just have a new outlook on a whole variety of different things in life, go rewatch this, please. This is a rewatch for sure. Also, please go follow Brittany on TikTok at Walk in Purpose with Brittany, but the with is just a W. So Walk in Purpose W Brittany, and Brittany is spelled Brittany. Go find her on TikTok, give her a follow, comment on her videos that you saw her on Wake Up Legendary, give her some love. And Dave is back tomorrow. We have another phenomenal guest as always. And please stay legendary. Peace.